Hello and thank you for joining us from wherever you are. We are coming to you live from our studios in Kokomlemle on digital address GA0992539. Our top stories this hour. Police arrest 2 suspects linked to a dawn robbery of a bank at Lashibi. Senior staff associations of universities in Ghana declare nationwide strike. Speaker of Parliament undecided on MPP's letter over Fomena MP's seat. Parliament has passed into law the Complementary Education Agency Bill 2020. All this and more coming up in this bulletin. Welcome. Glad you could join us now. In our first story, state prosecutors are pushing to have a leaked tape set to be the voice of NDC National Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo accepted as evidence in an Accra High Court. The politician and another member of his party, Kweku Boahen, have been accused by state prosecutors of plotting to undertake a series of criminal activities targeted at EC Chairperson Jean Mensah and others, including national security operatives. They have since denied the allegations and described the audio as doctored. Court correspondent Joseph Akable reports police investigators say they have forensically analyzed the leak tape. Listen to this report.
Police investigator Inspector Bernard Berko said the Israel Forensic Science Institute had successfully analyzed the leak tape by comparing it to another audio that has the NDC chairman addressing a gathering. He informed the court the leak tape was obtained from Accra-based radio station Adom FM. A recording of an interview Kweku Boahen granted the same radio station was also obtained. He revealed the police confronted the 2 accused persons with the tapes, but aside from describing them as doctored, they exercised their right to remain silent. He continued that Mr. Ampofo, after the police interrogation, addressed the party supporters at the CID headquarters. This is what has been attached to the leaked tape to carry out the analysis. Mr. Ampofo's lawyers, led by Tony Lita, indicated their intention to object to the leaked tape being accepted as evidence. They, however, asked that the court place it to the hearing of all before they raised the objection. After 15 minutes of the audio playing, Director of Public Prosecution Yvonne Atakro-Obisa said they had given a wrong sound file to the court and that this audio does not capture the entire recording. She therefore urged the court to grant an adjournment. Justice Samuel Esiede granted a request adjourning proceedings to November 19 for continuation. The full audio is to be played, after which the objection regarding the admissibility of the audio will also be heard. Afterwards, if it's accepted, the forensic analysis report will be submitted to the court for scrutiny.
Still live on the pulse, let's move to other issues. And the Senior Staff Association Universities of Ghana will from Monday 19th October 2020 lay down their tools because of government's failure to address what they describe as deteriorating conditions of service. At a news conference in Accra a while ago, the national chairman of the association, Abdul Majid Yusuf, said all attempts to get governments to address their concerns regarding award on market premium and payment of Tier 2 arrears of their retired colleagues have all proven futile. There's more in this report by my colleague, Kweku Asante.
The Senior Staff Association Universities of Ghana will from Monday 19th October 2020 withdraw its services over what it describes as government failure to address the deteriorating conditions of service of senior staff of public universities in Ghana. Here is Abdul Majid Yusuf announcing the industrial action.
Pursuant to the ultimatum, which was copied to the National Labour Commission, and government's insensitivity to our plight, we hereby declare a withdrawal of our services with effect from Monday, 19th October 2020. All members of the Senior Staff Association, Universities of Ghana, SSAU of G, are required to lay down their tools and hoist red flags across all campuses.
The staff is attributing this to the award of market premium to lecturers and other staff of public universities without considering the senior staff. The association claims this is discriminatory.
The award of market premium to our senior colleagues and comparators in other public institutions, in our candid opinion, was unscientific and discriminatory. It was merely based on academic/professional qualification rather than output-driven. We wish to state categorically that a good number of us within the senior staff cadre are even more qualified academically and professionally than some of our senior colleagues. Furthermore, the award of the market premium does not only defeat the purpose for the introduction of the single spine salary structure, but also seeks to deepen the dam and nurse syndrome that has characterized university administration over the years.
The Senior Staff Association is also complaining about moves by government to migrate universities' payroll to the Controller General's payroll system.
In previous correspondence to government, we enumerated several reasons why universities' payroll should not be migrated to the Controller and Accountant General's payroll system. We reiterate our call to government to stop the subtle moves to do so. Instead, we strongly advocate for a special dispensation akin to that granted to the security services and other public institutions such as Cocoa Board.
Senior staff of the public universities include administrators and other members who are not lecturers, including accountants, among others. The association also says although they sympathize with government as a result of the financial difficulties it is going through by virtue of the coronavirus pandemic, they want their concerns addressed regardless.
Yes, we all know that the COVID has dealt every Ghanaian a blow. And when the COVID, in fact, was so, let me say, intense, we decided not to do what we are doing now. And we endured whatever every other Ghanaian endured. We gave our support. And we think that government is a going concern. Up to this point, at least we should hear something. The budget, for the next year, has to take.
The national chairman of the association, Abdul Majid Yusuf, has joined us in studio. Thank you very much for joining us, sir. First of all, who are university senior staff?
Yes. Good afternoon to your cherished viewers. The senior staff of the public universities include accountants, administrators, those working in the security section, the transport section, and so all of these constitute senior staff of the public universities.
And what has led to this point?
Yes, as I indicated earlier this morning, we have tried to engage government through the Ministry of Education, and more specifically, the Minister of Education, to draw government's attention to some of the deteriorating conditions under which we work. Primarily among these are the non-award of market premium and basic allowance to our category.
But what's a market premium?
Yes, the market premium it's an element or a component of the remuneration of public sector employees. And for those of us in the universities, it is our senior colleagues, we call them senior members, teaching and non-teaching, who are benefiting. So what we are saying is that we equally merit the market premium. The basis is that we find it discriminatory and unscientific. The award was made, in our opinion, strictly on the basis of academic and professional qualifications. So we are saying that a good number of us now have academic and professional qualifications, some of which some of our senior members do not even possess. And so government should reevaluate the criteria and make the effort to treat all of us fairly. That is just one of the issues we have. Right. The other issues, of course, include the Tier 2 arrears that government is yet to pay as far as our members are concerned. We have some of our people who have gone on retirement. Some people have worked in the system for 30 years. You can imagine working for 30 years and then going on retirement, and your Tier 2 contributions are in arrears right from 2010 to 2016. It is so disheartening. In fact, most of those people are traumatized. Yes.
Okay, so that summarizes the challenge as well. But what has been the response of government since you began engaging them?
Yes, like I said earlier, we have tried to engage the National Council on Tertiary Education and the Minister of Education. Yes, and the response so far for me is very appalling, to say the least. We have not even had a concrete meeting to cement these issues. And so having come to this point, we think that government is not taking us seriously, and the least we can do is to lay down our tools.
Why now?
Oh, yes. You know, the whole world has actually not been at ease since March of this year. And we in Ghana have equally had our share. Since we realized that has taken much of government's effort as patriotic citizens, we decided that we would equally, you know, relax our demands and support government through it all. And for us now, this is about the right time, because the budget for next year is being considered. And so if all these are not factored into the budget, then it means that we definitely are going to be left out.
Under normal circumstances, if you miss the budget deliberations, that means you have to wait an entire year. But this is an election year.
Yeah.
And so the budget that will be prepared for November just covers the first 3 months of the coming year. Can't we wait till next year so that it can be factored into the March budget, which is over a longer period?
For instance, those of our colleagues that have gone on retirement, you know, I'm not sure if you suggest this to them, you'll be fair to them. And this has been outstanding since 2010. So 2010 to 2016, it's good enough time for government to have made amends. Please note that what we are demanding for is our contribution, tier 2 contribution, 5% of the workers' money that government hasn't paid to our fund managers, so as to enable them invest those monies, and so that when our members are on retirement, they will be given good packages. So that right from 2010 to 2016, we have not had those payments made. For us, it calls for this kind of action.
But have you heard why those payments have not been made from government?
We actually have not had the government making, let me say, an official statement on why the tier 2 contributions for 2010 to 2016 remain unpaid. We have not heard from government. The only thing we can say is that we have a board which is in charge of this, and the fund managers have actually not had these monies so as to enable them invest. And so for us, that is quite worrying.
Second years in universities just reopened, and so your services will be very needed on the university campuses, yes, especially since universities have been closed for so long.
Yes.
Have you considered the effect, yes, of the strike?
Yes. Yeah, we are, if you like, the pillars on which these universities, you know, rest. The senior and junior staff have, over the years, sustained the operations of these universities. And mind you, we also have relations among the students, where some of us have children and their siblings, and even if you like, distant relations who are equally going to be part of this, the cohort that is coming. And of course, it is not good news for us, but that's the best we can do.
So I want to assume that since this news conference and this announcement was made, yeah, no response has been heard from government? Not
yet. We haven't heard anything from government yet.
All the best then.
Thank you very much.
I'm hoping that this will be resolved soon.
Thank you.
Right. Let's move to other stories. And 6 Chinese nationals have been arrested for mining illegally in the farming enclave of Pokokrom in the Ashanti region as government moves in to protect key natural resources from illegal mining. The Sustainable Land and Water Management Task Force also seized 4 excavators used in destroying large tracts of farmlands and water bodies in the area. Love FM's Erastus Asaridonko followed the team on its first assignment at Pokokrom in the Amansia West District of Ashanti region and filed this report.
The withdrawal of various security task force from illegal mining enforcement regimes has emboldened some illegal miners in the hinterlands. Our only hygienic source of water here has been destroyed. Now our source of water for drinking and farming is gone. These days, we can't farm in the dry season due to polluted water sources. Here at Dato, near Pokukrum, large tracts of farmlands growing cocoa and other crops have been destroyed to serve illegal mining interests. Led by Nana Chum Ajikum, the Sustainable Land and Water Management Task Force is leading an onslaught against the destruction of natural resources. 6 Chinese nationals were arrested here at Pokukrum. They have since been transferred to the Kumasi Central Police for processing. 4 excavators seized from the site have also been sent to Kumasi. Mr. Chum Ajikum says the team seeks to protect natural resources and protect those in legitimate mining.
We are
here to stop individuals parading as security personnel to rob legitimate miners of their produce. We are also here to stop destruction of rivers and streams and illegal mining in the forest by Chinese nationals supported by Ghanaians. Today, we've arrested 6 Chinese and seized about 5 excavators.
Small scale mining. Because we'll be entering the crew. Emma Waya Juma, who knew so. The Chinese never better. Now, Waya Adiene, Okaka, near Sangabu, Akaho. Yachi Chinese for in Sia. Any excavator and so be in.
Reporting for JoyNews, Erastus Asaredonko, Kumasi.
Now, Speaker of Parliament, Professor Aaron Michael is still pondering over what to do with a letter from the NPP to him asking that he declares the Formina constituency seat vacant. That's according to Majority Leader Osei Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu. The New Patriotic Party in a statement said it had asked the Speaker to declare the seat vacant after it expelled the MP Andrews Amwaku-Esiama from Parliament for filing to contest as an independent candidate. The Majority Leader tells us the letter came from the Ashanti Regional Branch of the NPP and the Speaker is still considering what to do.
The Speaker and not me.
But just to be clear, this is coming from the Ashanti Regional NPP, not maybe the General Secretary John Boydo himself.
Oh, not really. I mean, if anybody notices an aberration, right, it doesn't need to be maybe from even the party, right? So that is.
Do you get the sense there is an aberration of a sort with?
I say if anybody notices an aberration, the Speaker is saying that he's going to ponder over the issue. For now, because the letter is not addressed to me, respectfully, I cannot comment.
No. Leader, look on your experience.
Thank you very much.
Look at your experience. What are the
much.
dynamics? Leader, your experience.
Let's join my colleague Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, who is coming to us live from Parliament. Joseph, what more have we learned about this particular case?
Members of Parliament to this, including lawyers right here in Parliament, particularly on the side of the minority. I've been speaking to Roxanne Nafiamepo, who is the NDC MP for North Dai. He's also a member of the Constitution and Legal Affairs Committee here in Parliament. He makes the point that looking at the situation, it will be almost impossible for the Speaker to declare this particular seat vacant because he thinks the provisions that are contained in the Constitution don't support the idea that you would want to move in.
Let's take a listen to Roxanne Nafiamepo.
Yes, there's a legal basis for the action, and it is premised on Article 97, Clause 1, Subclause G. The whole of Article 97 speaks of when a seat can be said to be vacant in Parliament. And so I believe that what the MPP has done by taking concrete steps to alert Speaker regarding the situation of the Formina MP is to suggest that he is seeking to go independent. Now, if you carefully read the provision under 97(1)(g), the framers of the Constitution anticipates a voluntary action that if a member decides, so they start the clause with if a member of parliament decides to abandon the party on whose ticket is to the election to parliament to join another party, or if he decides to stay in parliament as an independent member. So in either scenarios, it doesn't appear to be playing out in this matter. That's the problem I have, because he hasn't decided to leave the MPP to join another party. That's the first scenario in the clause. The second scenario is that, has he decided to stay in parliament as an independent member of parliament?
You're live on the Pulse here on the JoyNews channel. Now, the Ashanti Region Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Sam Pine, has disclosed the expelled Member of Parliament for Formina, Andrew Amakwe Siama, is free to rejoin the party side of Parliament if he wins the seat as an independent candidate. Mr. Siama, as we know, was sacked from the party for violating its constitution after he refused to back down on his stance following pleas from executives.
The party constitution is clear that if Sampai decides to run against the party's sponsored candidate, automatically you forfeit membership of the party. That is it. The national constitution also is clear on this, that if you're a member of parliament and you cross carpet, you lose your position. If there had been 3 months, more than 3 months before the election, there would have been a by-election in Formina, because he's going as an independent candidate. It tells you you've left the membership of the New Patriotic Party. The national constitution states clearly that if a member of parliament crosses carpet, he loses membership of the House. And if it's more than 3 months before a general election, there's a by-election.
We've had independent candidates who have sat with the majority before.
Of course, that's a different matter. He is not there as an independent candidate.
Okay,
if he wins the 2020 elections as an independent candidate, then the rules of the House says that you need to align yourself with one of the, either the majority.
Would you accept
if he decides, definitely. If he comes in that, yes, I've won as an independent candidate, but I want to align myself in parliament with the majority, fine.
Sam Pine there speaking on Prime Morning on Joy Prime TV. Let's go back and speak with Joseph Opoku Gakpo. Joe, tell us what the other members of parliament have been saying.
Interesting. As the majority leader indicated, the speaker himself is yet to take a decision, and he's pondering over all of this. We heard from Roxy Nafiamapa as well, making the argument that this is actually something that the speaker cannot do in terms of declaring the seat vacant per the provisions that are contained in the Constitution. The others who agree with him on that, for example, Mahama Yarega, the MP for Boku Central, who thinks that there is no constitutional basis for this, and that is just an attempt by the NPP to intimidate a member who is decided to go as an independent candidate. But for other MPs like Ostei Bonsuamua, who is the MP for the Akuapem area, the NPP MP, he thinks this is a novel situation. He's actually been speaking to the media, and he makes the point that probably the speaker may have to set up a committee to advise him on what the way forward should be on this, because it's not like the regular clear-cut situation that they can just decide on the way forward. But the indication we're getting is that any decision that would eventually be taken necessarily has to come back to the floor for the MPs to deliberate on and decide on how the way forward is.
But Joseph, since this announcement was made, and indeed since Mr. Isiama decided to run as an independent candidate, has he been to the chamber?
I haven't spotted him since the House returned from its break last week, Tuesday. I haven't spotted him in the presence of the House since then. He's probably been working at the level of the committee or probably been campaigning in his constituency, but I haven't spotted him.
His party, the MPP, seems to view him at least from what we have heard the various executives say, they seem to view him as someone who has forsaken his party and is deserving of an expulsion. Do his fellow majority members of parliament share that sentiment?
That is something that they think is, first of all, should be left solely to the discretion of the leadership in terms of the idea that he should be removed, as is being pushed for by the NPP. But for a lot of the MPs, they make the point that he was elected by the people up until now. He still has the mandate of the people, which is the argument the minority MPs are pushing, and that he should be allowed to serve. But for those on the majority side, they make the point that the party has taken a decision, and everyone within the party would have to go along the lines of the party's decision and support without wanting to contradict them. So obviously, this is again something that's playing out very clearly on the political line. And even for majority MP, they are backing the decision that has been taken by the party that he be expelled.
Joseph Opoku-Gakpo, thank you very much for joining us. This is the election headquarters. Now, the Medina constituency is one of the hottest seats in the Greater Accra region. Both the NPP and the NDC have snatched the seat at one point or the other. The incumbent, Abubakar Sadiq Boniface, who is also the Minister of State at the Office of the Vice President, is our guest today as we build up to the December polls. Let's welcome Mr. Sadiq Boniface.
Thank you.
It's great to have you here in studio.
Do I remove my nose mask or I leave it?
Oh, well, it's at your own discretion, but I think it's best if you kept it on now. Now, from the last point that I made when I was introducing you, you were moved from the Ministry of Zongo and Inner City Development. Exactly. I think that's where I last interviewed you.
Sure.
And now you're at the Office of the Vice President. How's the new job like?
Well, the new job is quite interesting and tiring. It's a task that one has to live up to expectation, you know, because I've been charged to look at the political and policy matters within the Vice President's domain. And anytime I could be charged at any time, at any point in time, to go and do a job on behalf of His Excellency, the Vice President.
Interesting. So what are those specific, when you say political and policy matters, what are those specific
you should understand policies that come in that we need to analyze? Of course, you don't just advise the Vice President, go and talk. You analyze issues and then present your brief to him. This is what we do.
Interesting. Some people may have seen it as a demotion. Do you agree?
Well, some might see it that way, but apparently I don't mind so long as it will impact on the administration of the government. So be it. You see how it is. The most important thing is for you to live up to expectation. I have worked throughout within 8 years of President Kufuor, risen to a higher height and performed very well. Anybody who knows Boniface will tell you, because I rose from a junior minister's level, from being a deputy minister of trade and industries, then to tourism modernization of the capital city, Northern Regional Minister. You know the legacy I left there. Then to youth employment, my impact on this economy in terms of labor. During my time, for 1.5 years, there was no strike in this country. Check my records. And I ruled out youth employment in this country and was moved again to Ministry of Water Resources, Works and Housing. These were 3 ministries today. So, and then, I pioneered the establishment of the Zongo Ministry. I ensured everything was done and done very well. So if you move me, I've left a record. So I'm not the type that you call me and tell me you are shuffling me, taking me somewhere, and then I'll go to my knees. Everybody has his point where you work. You have your admirers and you have your chief executive who will tell you that, oh, move to this side. That is how it has to be. Because there's no point or there's no ministry reserved to a particular person.
Okay.
Your chief executive, the president can move you to any point at any point in time. And once they move you to a place, you have to live up to expectations. So I take it.
So you're happy there?
Whether you are happy or not, I'm happy.
So are you happy?
I'm okay. Because if I were not happy, I would have come out to say, I'm okay, I'll go back to Parliament. But I believe it's a challenge and the first of its kind. Let me go and see. At the end of the day, at the end of my work, I'll write my memoirs and I'll indicate whether I was happy being there or not being happy. And also advise any government that will come down, look, this position is good. Get somebody to assist any vice president who will come, or don't do it.
Yeah, it was quite interesting. I mean, from the record that you spell out, and I remember your time at the Ministry of Works and Housing particularly very well. I also had friends living in the northern region at the time that you were minister there. From there to pioneer the Ministry of Zongos and Inner City Development, and to create another new ministry at the office of the Vice President. You know, from the responsibility that was Zongos to the office of the Vice President. I would say that it's a yawning gap.
Well, that is part of life. Life, in the course of your life, you must taste happiness and taste sadness. That is how life is. It's undulating. You don't get everything smoothly. But that is another way of building you and build your career, because you don't know what will happen tomorrow. So it makes you steady a lot of things, and then it will fortify you to move into the future.
Let's talk about Parliament. Your win was quite historic. Amadou Sorogo was a stalwart in Parliament. I remember him.
He was a seasoned politician.
He was chairman of the Mines and Energy Committee of Parliament. Exactly. He was no mean parliamentarian, and he had been there for years.
At a point in time, he was chairman of Trade.
Yes, another very important committee. And you came in and you won with 54.9%, 40,283.
It was 42,000.
42,000.
Those reports are being given are wrong. It's 42,000. He got 31,000.
Okay, I know of the 31,000, but from the research that we did,
they were downplaying it. It's 42,000.
Interesting. I will not dispute that. I mean, that was in the 2016 election, but we are in a new election.
Yes.
In a few weeks, it's time for you to go back to the people to justify your inclusion. First of all, how have the past 4 years been in terms of delivering to the people of Medina on the promise that you made?
You see, I'll tell you, very excellent. Within a period of 3 years, 10 months, these are all projects that were started by me and completed. This is not a green book, it's a blue book. I will show you when I came with a slogan. I have lived in Medina for 37 years. Before coming, I saw that Medina was falling short of certain things, and therefore there's something to be done. You know, so when I came in, when they came for me that I should come and contest the seat, I said, okay, I accept. But this is my message. I'm coming with the slogan, Mission Medina. And Mission Medina is just not a rhetoric. It is a kind of a mission that must have a vision. Because my vision is that one day we must find Medina being so safe, comfortable, and resilient for the people to live in. And to do that, you must have factors that you must have to implement. And those variables are about peace and security, education, infrastructure, health. You have employment, social intervention, and I have them here. You see, for the cameras, you find it very clear. Now, I have...
So there's also water and sanitation?
Oh yes, there's water and sanitation, and I come to all those things. Now, I started with peace and security. In terms of peace, because that 5-letter word, people don't know how fragile it is. It is Partnership for Eternal Association for Communal Existence.
Partnership for Eternal
Association for Communal Existence. One for all and all for one. So if you're at a point and you are privileged, you must do something to save the people, make them happy, and make them comfortable. So in terms of peace, I have done my best to get the police, the fire service, and NADMO motorbikes. Because if a crime is being committed at a point, Medina is so choked in terms of traffic. Vehicular traffic is so huge. So if a crime is being committed at a point and you call the police, please, we have this thing happening. By the time they get there, it's finished.
Okay.
2, because of that, I also want to encourage police visibility. Every point you must see a policeman. So in committing a crime, you find it difficult or you fear. At the same time, with the policeman standing at a point with a motorbike and a crime is being committed, you only get a Motorola message sent to him and immediately he will move. Something that will be taken about 1 hour, in 20 minutes he will get there. So I provided this. In terms of security, in fact, a lot of crime were being committed, especially in the night. Medina used to be very dark. If you get to Medina today, every corner, I don't say 100%, but every corner, all the street lights, I send the street lights there.
Okay, in the past 4 years?
In the past 4 years. And the market women even came to my office saying that in the night when they leave, by the following day they come, most of their stocks are often stolen. They came and reported to me. I sent a contractor to check the whole market. He came up with 74 lights to be fixed. I contracted him, I paid, and then I provided him with the street lights. You will see all the pictures there.
Unfortunately, I don't find peace and security.
Oh, peace and security is
in the book.
It's the first time.
Yeah, I thought I'd find the details in here because it starts from education.
Okay, I have sent it at the back of the page. You will find it here.
So that we could check some of the things. Okay, it's under social interventions. Donation of motorbike to
it was
security.
Through printing that it fell under social intervention. So you see how it is.
So the investment in peace and security was a donation of the motorbikes.
Motorbikes. I've held some workshops for people, women, to know the importance of living peacefully with their neighbors. It isn't something all the time that you can get people and say, I've done this for peace, but you find another format, engaging the people and talking to them. And you find out that, in fact, Ghana is one of the most peaceful countries you can get.
Right.
It is only in Ghana you can have a Muslim staying in a Christian home or a Christian living in a Muslim home.
Yeah.
Or again, it is only Ghana you can have a Christian family married to a Muslim family or the other way around. So that is an exhibition of peace in this country. That's an epitome. That shows how we live together.
You seem to have the philosophical underpinnings, on point. And I've listened to you on several occasions. Yeah. You often have these perspectives.
Don't forget, I hold a master's degree in peace and security.
Important.
I hold a master's degree in economics. My specialization is international economics. And I have masters in financial management. So all this can impact on what I'm talking about.
You've always had strong opponents, though.
Yes.
And we were just going through the retinue or the resume of Amadou Sorogo. This time around, you're going against no mean person.
Mean person? What has he done in this country?
Francis Xavier
no mean person.
Francis Xavier Soso is a renowned human rights lawyer.
Yes, how many cases has he done for us?
He's nationally acclaimed as a human rights lawyer.
And how many cases has he done for us?
I'm not here to list the number of cases he has done. I honestly can't say the number he's done, but he has done a number of landmark cases.
Before I came to Medina, I had done things out of my political career. I had done a lot of things for Medina before coming to contest there. I have lived in Medina for 37 years.
So Xavier Soso is no match?
Well, like the footballers will say, the field will decide. It's not rhetoric. It's the field that decide the best team of the day. And I'm not requesting people to vote for me for who I am. I'm asking the people to vote for me for what I have done for Medina. And there's no part in Medina that you go today and you find a project that has been brought by Boniface. As I speak to you now, call Medina. Asphalt is being done in Zongo right now. Something they've not seen. I'm moving step by step, something they've not seen. Today, if you go to Zongo, they wanted a school for the past 16 years. Umar bin Khattab. 2016, just 2 weeks to go for elections. That was when they were bringing iron rods, cement, and chippings. Immediately, Honorable Ahmad Sorogo lost. They came and collected everything. Today, go and see, I got a 12-unit classroom being built in the story building. It's there.
You seem very confident.
Oh, my goodness. You see, the point is that people who know me know that I don't talk carelessly. Okay. Everything that I do is in pictures. And these are not things I came and met to. These are new things that were started by Boniface. And check the level where I've reached within 3 and 10 months. You see how it is. Within 3 years, 10 months. This is something that anybody, I have shown, this is in print. We've printed it over thousands. Okay. And everybody will see. I want to challenge you. Any picture you see, it is being titled. Go straight to Medina and ask whether in the past 4 years, this particular storm drain was there. This particular street, was it tarred? And then you can then go on air and say Boniface has told a lie to the public. Interesting. And we'll definitely subject it to all the fact checking that is required. Yes. What percentage are you coming out with? This last time you did 54%. Yes, I didn't tell the public when I came to contest Ahmadu Sorogo. But my work will decide on the day, 7th December, when they count. Then people will know that, this man was on the quiet working. That is how we do. But I am not those who come out and say, I'll win 70%, I'll win 80%. But the voters, they will decide. But you know, Medina has a lot of traders. There's a huge market in there. And a lot of complaints have been about the economy generally and how things are not as easy as they were in the past. Money is a bit hard to come by. You think that will not affect you? In your work, is it women alone who vote? It's an explanation to let them understand why things are difficult. You see, people fail to explain to the public. I personally have had engagements with financial institutions to help most of the market women. How many? In fact, I can't give you the data now. I got First National to get in there. I got Arab Bank here to support them. I also supported in getting 43 groups through Maslock to assist them. Each group composes 25 people. Through my office, there are a lot of people that I have assisted on economic basis. I want to go and do this business. I need little capital. The informal market is so tiny. If you give somebody 500 cedis, it's a big capital to that fellow. And I've done that from 5,000 all the way to 500 up to 5,000. I've supported. You see some of them here. Interesting. Yes. We just have a few minutes to go, but we are not in normal times. You're wearing a mask because there's a COVID-19 pandemic. Yes. The concern has been for inner cities like Medina, Zongo, where, you know, because of the housing, people can't really space and do social distancing. How did you aid them in this period? In fact, if you check, I've given a lot of people support in terms of food and other items. Look, you see, these are food items that I was donating. Apart from that, personally, I went to Concover Market to buy yams, tubers, a lot to distribute to people. Now, if you come here too, because I want to live within the confines of the COVID-19 protocols, all mosques that hold Jummah prayers, I've donated Veronica buckets, sanitizers, tissues, and other things to them. As I speak right now, I have that of the Christian Council, because Medina is not Muslims alone. I have sent a word to them. They have sent back a message. Anytime they are ready, you'll be prepared for me to hand over to them. I attend churches, I attend mosques. So Abubakar Boniface today. Thank you very much for joining us. I'll be supplying with some of these books. I want to. And then I'll challenge you to come to the constituency to see what the type of job I've done. More than 20 schools have been built in Medina. A clinic that was started by my predecessor, Ahmad Suru, asked him. He didn't pay. I came and organized my common fund to pay. Right now, I've organized money through my National Health Insurance Fund to continue with the project and complete it.
Mr. Siddiq, speak to the camera, speak to your constituents.
Yeah, you say you are running out of time.
Yeah.
But this is what I'm telling you. Because all the projects, all infrastructure, I have sent 8 storm drains. 8. Go to Maya Hot, Adenta West, Libya Cortes, North Legon. We have Rehoboth. They all have storm drains. We'll
organize time and bring you back. Perhaps
and employment, in terms of employment, let me show you.
Right.
Within that short period.
We don't have much time. Let me personally invite you to my show on Joy Prime Morning.
Wonderful.
It will have a whole hour on Monday so that we can break down the issues.
This coming Monday.
This Monday.
Wonderful.
This Monday,
I'll be there.
It's a date.
I'll be available.
But address your constituency before we look in the camera.
My constituencies and my constituents will know that they have a very credible representative in Parliament. In terms of personality, in terms of work, in everything that they challenge me, they know it is only Abu Bakr Sadiq Boniface who can effect changes for them. Right now, there are a lot of roads that are under construction, a lot of drains. Zongo was out of the picture. Today, whatever North Legon has received in terms of asphalt is gone into Zongo. AstroTurf, in that stadium is not only a football pitch. We have basketball court, we have volleyball court, we have lawn tennis. You can conduct boxing in that field. Arm wrestling can be done there. And they have dressing rooms. This is to international standard. I have done that for Medina. And in front of the stadium is asphalt road. That area is now a prime area. You go to Washington, the road is tarred. You go to UN, it's tarred. That is the picture of the AstroTurf. And on the sides, you will find the basketball court, long tennis court, and volleyball court, netball, all. These are the roads that have been done during my time.
Alhaji Abu Bakr Boniface Sadiq.
This is the time, because as a politician, you don't exhibit everything wise within that confines of the time, because you endanger your colleagues somewhere. But this is the right time to show it. We are conducting community engagement and give them PowerPoint presentation. And then in the area, they see what we have done. This is the Nanado's government. We do, it is something you see, you touch, and you can feel it.
Thank you very much for joining us. You're live on The Pulse with me, Daniel Daze. There's more coming up after this. Thanks for staying with us. This is still your election headquarters, and President of Imani Africa, Franklin Cudjoe, has described as educative and informative last night's debate among the minority political parties in the country. 5 presidential aspirants locked horns on JoyNews Imani Africa debate with bold statements about why the electorate should consider them as a formidable third force. Imani Africa says it looks forward to a vice presidential debate between the 2 major political parties. We'll hear from him shortly, but first, here are highlights of the debate at the University of Professional Studies, Accra.
It was an electrified stage with the presidential candidates of the minority political parties sharing their vision, major policy alternatives, and proposals to tackle the endemic issues stagnating Ghana's development. Each of the presidential aspirants had a message of hope for the country. Bridget Jogbanuku of the PPP, CPP presidential candidate Ivor Greenstreet, and the APC's Hassan Ayariga, David Apasera of the PNC, and LPG's Kofi Akpalu announced their major policy statements on the big stage. The debate centered around law and order, security, unemployment, among others. It took a heated turn when moderators asked the candidates what their economic recovery policies were for the country.
We have deficit in food, so we need to change our consumption pattern to produce locally what we eat and eat what we produce. This is what we need, a production hub. When we are able to build a production hub, we go on to a manufacturing hub, then an industrial hub. You don't jump from up and say you are building buildings in the sky. That will not happen under my leadership. Thank you.
Unfortunately, the problem is far more complex. We have a vast debt overhanging this nation. We have a vast amount of arrears that we haven't paid all contractors, all invoices, all state organizations, which are allowing this economy to be weighed under this level of debt. Merely by paying all of these arrears and not taking on new debt for new projects, cleansing the system of all these difficulties alone will provide a stimulus to move this nation forward.
Mr. Akwalu, you have that alternative?
Oh yeah, we need to create entrepreneurs here in Ghana. Millionaires, we need to create millionaires, we need to help people to make it right here in Ghana. Though I believe in FDIs, but we need to empower our own to make it right here in Ghana. So we need to create collective investment whereby millions of Ghanaians can put $500 each to create $500 million than bring in somebody with $500 million to invest here in Ghana.
Thank you. Madam Bridget Jogbenuku, the PPP has an alternative for us.
We've always talked about jobs. Jobs, jobs, jobs. And one would ask, how do we create these jobs? I do something like that. And in trying to add value, the entire value chain of these industries are going to be providing jobs for the youth in this area. Indigenous industry, which therefore can be taxed and therefore can be revenue for the country. So let's start with the jobs.
Thank you. Mr. David Apasara.
Yes, certainly we need to look at investing in our people, encouraging our people to produce what we want. We cannot continue to rely on foreign imports. And we have to begin first with stopping the importation of finished petroleum products. We have a refinery in Ghana, and fortunately now we produce crude oil. We should be able to refine and rather export finished product rather than importing finished product. We are burning the dollar on the street, in our cars, and we say the city is falling.
Then came the radical proposals on how some of the candidates intend to deal with corruption and the perceived breakdown in security.
If we find that you're corrupt, that your salary cannot buy you the kind of cars you use, your salary cannot fetch you the kind of house you live in, you will have to answer to a special independent prosecutor, not the one we have, an autonomous special independent prosecutor. And he will take you on. You will declare your asset no matter who you are, and we'll have a social security that will track information of every Ghanaian working in Ghana, living in Ghana, and doing business in Ghana. It is very simple. Punish them and everybody will be scared. I will go to jail. The first day I become president, I'm going to sit in the cells. This is to show that anybody corrupt will not have it easy in my government. If we try the tougher punishment and it doesn't restrain people from corruption, we have to go that length. And when we go that length, if you steal and you know, if you are caught, you will die. You will not steal. You are stealing to eat. And when you know that you will be caught and shot, you will not do it. And I think that Ghana has to be salvaged from corruption. Corruption is our main problem. That is causing us what we have, the misery that we have. Ghana is a fabulously rich resource country, and we don't have to be suffering. It is corruption. And, you know, we look at it, we've borrowed, and we can't show.
Madam Jogbenuku, I saw the look on your face. You have a reaction to that?
About people being shot?
For being corrupt.
Well, let's implement the law and apprehend those who are involved in corruption first. I don't believe in people being shot for corruption, but I'm sure that there are tougher sanctions than what we are implementing now.
Yes, Mr. Greenspan.
Well, the problem is, you can see that both of the parties which have been ruling us for the last 28 years have been corrupt. They go into opposition, they claim about finding things difficulty, all of a sudden they're in office and they appear to be happy moving around with all the money in the world. They run flamboyant election campaigns. Nobody knows where any of the money comes from. They claim to be enforcing corruption. They lose power. Another party comes in. All of a sudden, they're leading flamboyant lives. Clearly, that's where the corruption is, with them.
And we're also going to compare everybody in this country to file his annual return, tax returns. Everybody, if you're 18 years and above, you're going to file your annual tax return. And that will disclose your income, your liabilities, and your assets. And it will help us to curb corruption one way or the other. So we also make sure our officers are paid and paid well, and they are paid on time. So corruption to us is everywhere, but we'll do everything possible, humanly possible, to eradicate it.
Do you pay bribes?
No, I don't.
Okay.
The debate undoubtedly amplified the voices of the minority political parties, if not a shot at convincing the electorate they are the third force the Ghanaian political landscape has been clamoring for.
We can now hear from President of Imani Africa, Franklin Kujo, who says it is important for political parties to debate ideas and policies to help voters make informed decisions at the polls.
Beautiful program yesterday. It was a discussion of wits, deliberations of serious minds, and indeed I pity those who have decided not to be part of debate because they are losing so much. They are not taking the opportunity to explain to people, to be challenged, to be able to go into the depths of their ideas and then tell people exactly what they are providing in terms of alternatives. And so I enjoyed myself yesterday, and I bet many people enjoyed themselves. But at the same time, I got a lot educated. I mean, there was so much education for me, because somehow people assume that these are minor parties or minority parties, and they may not necessarily possess the skillful art of governance. What you saw yesterday, displayed yesterday on that platform, was a combination of wits, was a combination of what you call efficiency, was a combination of what you would call pragmatism, honesty, and indeed some level of meritocracy. One of the things we should be careful about is the perception that because we've held a debate, then obviously the fortunes of parties get necessarily shot up, and that they may have to outperform during the votes. You see, it will happen immediately in a country where we have entrenched the perception that only two parties may have to take turns in ruling this country. And essentially so because, you see, it is very difficult to mobilize minds around, new ideas. So while I admit that, yes, debates of this nature may not necessarily move the needle a little bit, I think what significantly it has done, or it will do, is to arm the electorate, right, with fresh ideas and fresh inquisitorial minds, so that they can audit the promises of the so-called larger parties when they come to them for their votes. So it's both an educational enterprise that I suspect we should see that value in, as well as nursing the seeds for some deepening the growth of our democracy. So I do not see it as a win or lose at all, but in actual fact, look, listen to the things some of the candidates said. Bridget was spot on when she said, pre-SHS, she thinks it's like going through a school without education passing through you. When she made that famous analogy of if the fundamentals of education are weak, SHS will expose you. Now that runs counter to the hydra-headed, mantra of a promise that free SHS seems to cure everything. But deep down, everybody knows that free SHS is just giving access to people. But in terms of quality, and in terms of the quality of the product going down in the next 5-10 years.
We stay with elections, and constituents of Offensu North say the independent candidacy of renowned fetish priest Nana Kweku Bonsam will not affect the outcome of the parliamentary race in the constituency. Despite the fetish priest's indication his gods have assured him victory, many believe he hasn't done much in terms of aiding development to earn their votes. He joins another independent candidate, Charles Kwabena Boateng Sumaila, And the NDC's Caesar Ofoso Champong in the quest to deny Augustine Collins Intim a third-time bid. Nana Ojima has been assessing the strength of all candidates and filed this report.
This is the Offenso North constituency, and here there are two independent candidates contesting the NPP parliamentary candidate and MP, who is in the person of Collins Intim. There is one smiler and also renowned spiritualist Nana Kwaku Bonsam also contesting the seats here in the constituency. Nana Kwaku Bonsam is confident of victory because, according to him, his goals have assured him that when he contests this election, he will win. So we'll be talking to some of the constituents here to find out what exactly they think and feel about what's happening in this constituency. Papa, Nana Kwaku Bonsam, no more than what sir racing.
When you are there, sir, just a calling team, and you are YNT.
But Nana Kwaku Bonsam, last time I met you Okasa radio so TV so no patch say and nam say the Jumana oye no na bosom na ka chen say obetimi awen ne kofi so obetimi awen mu hu say eno ne possible
say bibia no wache Nyankopon timi wo de entimbe no so abosom na beto amana na say nipa na to amana Nyankopon timi so nti ejina ntimochi obewen.
All right, so he is also confident that the NPP candidate and current member of parliament for this constituency, Collins Intim, will retain his seat, despite Kwaku Bonsam's indication that his goals have given him the go-ahead and therefore he's winning this seat. But independent, but I couldn't say Mr. Smiler. On to me, baby.
Fabo, when you do sa. When you do a bit me, I win a banner.
It's an NDC so candidate to her.
Oh, crown when you do. When you don't bit by.
So he also thinks it's a straight win for Collins Intim. According to him, none of the other candidates has weight as Collins Intim does. So it's a straight win, outright win for Collins Intim. Nana Kwaku Bonsam candidate channel. Who is saying?
On the me kumapa so nya de say me nya so me nuan de onya. E no mo ba no nya de say that you know kwa nya de say me nso mo magba no obi ametima a qualify.
Nana Kwaku including Nana Kwaku Bonsam.
Me nua pa no nya nche. Enso nya de say obenya.
Una e penya na so na e penya.
Me na me penyi.
Amba ko ba ko.
Ya busunya.
Okay. So this man, Apacho didn't say.
Yawaji.
This man I just spoke to, Yawaji, is a relative of Nana Kwaku Bonsam, and according to him, his relative has no chance in the upcoming elections. According to him, Collins Intim, the incumbent MP, will still win, and he believes that it's possible that none of the independent candidates will make it through vetting. So probably, according to him, Nana Kwaku Bonsam might be dropped at the vetting stage. Papa, also saying.
Oh, the Minian Mark and Sap Pepe will be anywhere. Will bet him Collins Intim Agina. If he said, well, no, ya Gina Tumprecope. Ya Numa Wayan, woman be anywhere bet me a Yamufa cra.
Nana Kwaku Bonsam,
man ho cra, one man home. You who know what she will come has said, well, no answer what did he say, or yet comfort at tea of the Suasa, you name how she said, will bet me a bois.
Now
let's get to voters' voice, and some traders have been sharing what will influence their vote on December 7. While some say the free SHS policy is an anchor they hold on to, others maintain the inability of the NPP to fully implement key interventions like one district, one factory, one village, one dam, and $1 million per constituency signals it's their cue to look elsewhere. This is Voters' Voice.
Baby, I got to aba. On shani madachi yedim. Me ma be no go school second sanka car bomb because of school fees inti. But enenga nyobi. No so be to school fees. Nice can yen fan ye adwuma. O baby, I got to aba na. On shani abrabom. On shani madachi. Nanso, my niece will be by my saying to oversell my dachi, and the Amwa. Now,
bro, boys, brass, the diva. It's a shine in Oman, good bush now. Ambassador, so no banner, Baba, my dear, and a good party. Yeah, your money, woman, and you my and Tia Pelbia bar. Obe boy send e be ya enso betuma nya adwuma ye hwensi abrantie gina no bebre obi no ye adwuma bia e ma na nkwa ma me nya bia ni a ye nya bi wati ase nti ye pere obe ba obe boy ye ama enso nya bia ye dey a hwe ma nti ye bon pa ye se de obe ba obe boy no e na ye pe
na na ko ye hwe ma school for na ibi kwa school for kete na wa start e mo mo fini ko apokra e boy ko am ko school am to am didi bibia am nya collect hwe secondary school nini anu hwe atu se papa no den o ya de adwe papa on ti mo do beboa that man no nti na na ko
na mo de wa ya ma ya ni so pa o ma hia fo ne skafo nyina o ma hia fo ne skafo nyina ya ma ko school wa na wo sa akora na ya sa to ma o e sa sa mo de mo ya oba ma ya ma e ko school ni ya skafo nyina ya pe da na wa na wo sa akora ya to ma papa na wa na ko wa
4 years, 4 more for Nana. Niente a eka sadi say, Mama, oba tra Ghana kunya so. Ghana, Mama we di assemblyman, we di MCE, we di MP. Owie we di deputy minister for information. Owie we di minister. Owie osandi vice president. Owie osandi president. Ni jira chelo. Ghana baby odi edu enu ya hu. Akufo-Addo buy Nyabotre Akufo-Addo buy ya hwe Akufo-Addo also obeye free HS the priority from 2008 and was starting cases or buy obeye free HS the bia oka and olusu 2008 2012 olusu here still not that soka ya brad mama ya oka and say after 20 years ya beye free HS after 20 years Akufo-Addo buy 4 months 5 months no I introduce free HS no I introduce free HS and look crap on and who saw ya kwa do baby who say Ghana yare abagana COVID obia ti no say COVID abagana and we actually and you got the whole world thank you and we actually crap still papa is ejashi minion mu insu amubunu free mamutia owie Nyabotre mi bien na usu akasa Nyabotre Mama buy or the part or see the blood or free and you are exposing who
ye bre amra ye wo mu ye bre NDC onu na be sa to abama no last 4 years mo kire ye say mo ba ma ye factory be je ye factory wo he mo kire say mo ba ma ye $1 million awo he mo kire say mo ba ma ye village dam.
You're still live on The Pulse with me, Daniel Dazes. Stay with us. There's more after this. And this is where we wrap up with today's bulletin of The Pulse. Many thanks for joining us. My name is Daniel Dazes. Enjoy the weekend.